Hello everybody and welcome. Today's comfy build, we have a big raw damage hammer mix set. So we'll sit there, break down the skills, show you where the decos lie, give you the stat sheet, take this bad boy out for a hunt. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Today's hammer of choice will be the Occult Effusion. And no, if anybody asks, I did not just sit there, hunt a Garuga, and put his head on a stick. the Garuga hammer is awesome. It's going to give us access to 325 attack with 22 poison. The poison is literally just there as an added bonus and nothing else. Out the poison and it's still offering everything, this hammer would still be a great time and still overall super comfy. Our defense today will be 776 defense. This is about, I want to say, average for our comfy builds of late, but keep in mind, since you don't have something like the load up charge blade with having a shield, you are going to feel a little bit squishy, so you do have to be careful on hunts. When you're sitting there and fighting a monster, you really have to sit there and know what you're going to be going into and where your timings lie. Arts for arts and style. The style of choice today: Striker. Guild hammer versus Striker hammer. I love Striker hammer. Being able to sit there and pretty much have almost a free focus because of playing hammer feels so nice. They like the hammer charges charge up so fast. It just feels such a good time. It's just so good. You are lacking, if memory serves me correctly, the golf swing though, so if you like swinging for the fences and sitting there and happy Gilmoreing monsters to death, well, this might not be the style for you. Absolute readiness. This is going to be the only oh crap button here. Because of the build itself, we're literally just using it for an anti-carding measure. Outside of that, the restoring sharpness is just kind of an added bonus here, and that's literally all we get for the restoring sharpness. It's literally just an added bonus. Spinning Meteor 3. Not only is this gonna sit there and just be overall super solid, gives you one big smash when the monsters are toppled, also sits there, does really good at helping you get those KOs more consistently, so definitely this bad boy will help you a ton. Speaking about getting help for those KOs, you are sitting there and using Impact Press 3 with this. This is going to feel juicy. It's going to sit there and allow you to try to get almost 2 plus KOs within a hunt if you're really good at head sniping. So this is just gonna overall just be a great added effect for you. Overall, just a super good time. With the Garuga hammer, we are also rocking Rathalos Cap XR, Assyrian Mail XR, Assyrian Vambraces XR, Assyrian Floods XR, and Gore Greaves XR. This is going to give us access to sharpness too. This is pretty much going to give us max sharpness, so we are going to have a ton of purple value with this hammer. This is going to be a very, very good time. Challenger +2. Not only is this going to sit there and increase our affinity when the monster is enraged, it's also going to give us more raw damage overall. This combined with weakness exploit, when we sit there and go to head snipe and getting even more affinity, we're going to sit there and try between the two to give us that juicy 100% affinity, and then just overall more raw damage. This is just us doing as much damage as possible. We want to be the DPS of the party with just smashing that head to pieces. Crit boost, giving us a better multiplier for when we do land crits to make sure it's a bigger overall damage is super good. Since the fact that we're trying to run almost, if not 100% crit, we are sitting there and then multiplying that big damage number with this. It's overall just super good. And finally, KO King, your standard good old time of making it easier with hammer to get those stuns. These stuns are going to sit there and lead into windows where you can sit there and do things like your spinning meteor, or sit there and just do a ton of big charges and smashes to the face. Overall, with KO King, you're going to give yourself a lot of time and damage that you just normally would not have. Keep in mind, you can sit there and run this build without KO King. It's just my kind of preferred play style. When I play Hammer, I just usually always want to put KO King on it. It's just kind of like how people want to sit there and put focus on Greatsword all the time. With all that out of the way, here's the stat sheet breakdown. And to note, this is a KO King 10 Spirit 4 Talisman. So you are going to sit there and need to do a little bit of farming. It's going to be one of the easier ones that you can sit there and run across. It's not going to be something that's too challenging, because KO, I find when we do it on stream, it's very common. So do keep that in mind. This is going to be a fairly good build for you to pick up if you have a KO King. In the Hammer, we're rocking a Spirit Jewel 2, followed up by a Critical Jewel 1. Chest, we're rocking two Tenderizer 1 jewels, followed up by a Critical 1 jewel. Gloves, we're rocking a Critical 3 jewel. Waist, we are rocking a Critical 3 jewel. Finally, in the boots, we are rocking a Handicraft 1 jewel. With all that out of the way, let's take this bad boy for a hunt. It's been really fun and it's been fun, and I've enjoyed the experience, because it's just overall skills that you normally wouldn't have. So like, no one usually normally knows how to go about editing a video, to even hell, just giving you guys like a decent stream. Not a lot of people sit there and know how to go about doing that kind of stuff. Where the stream portion, I'm slowly getting better with. It's not one of the greatest times from time to time, so it's true. Yeah, like, these aren't going to be skills that I can put on a resume, but they're just overall good to have in general. That's just like how you can sit there and fix a car. Like, knowing how to fix a car, super handy. Might not be able to put that on a resume, but it's super handy to know.
Like, I know how to fix thermostats, like, but I'm not going to be able to put on a resume for, I don't know, like, an office job. Yeah, I can fix the thermostat, but it's nice to know so I don't have to pay like $200 for a guy to come in and do it.
Yeah, that's like I could sit there, break down a V8 engine, pretty much bring it back up to a working order, and then go through and turn it over and have it start running. But I'm not gonna be able to sit there and put that on my resume that I know how to do that. Imagine if you could actually put them on the resume. I mean, like, if you could put that on the resume, I'd have a ton of skills that I'd have to sit there and list on my resume. I'd have more skills than I've been at for jobs, which is kind of funny and also kind of sad. Like, I've been with the first job I got out of high school for this long, mainly just due to the simple fact that financial times just got really rough and really bad. So I wasn't willing to sit there and make financial gambles like that. And now I'm just like, man, time's gonna fly by, and I finally might be able to get out of this job, man. I gotta smarten up. But outside of that, am I really enjoying my job? No, this is just kind of paying the bills. Jobs I would enjoy are something like sitting there and being like a small engine mechanic. Being able to sit there and repair a vehicle, just for me, is a lot of fun.
Become a mechanic.
little bit harder when you don't have your driver's license.
Honestly, I don't either, but that's just because fun fact, I have a truck that's paid off. The problem is, I just don't know how parallel park. I can drive it, but like my parents legitimately will not teach me. And I failed one of my tests because of it. Everything was going smooth. We got to parallel parking and I just fucked it up. Apparently it's my fault, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I have a bunch, like, my family is nothing but professional drivers. So I would definitely either learn real quick or be laughed at for a long time. It's like a catch-22. Because my brother and both my dads have their class 1. My dad has worked driving tank truck for the oil field his whole entire life, pretty much. Outside of the time when he was younger and on the rigs for a bit. My stepdad has mostly done like a big equipment operating for lumber yards, tow truck driving, to now he's hauling like gravel around in a gravel truck. And then you have my brother, who's literally just been a tow truck driver. He as well as myself has not changed jobs, or I shouldn't say change jobs. More so, he hasn't really sat there and changed professions in a long time, because he's moved around quite a bit and sat there and tried running his own company and doing some other things. But what happens when you're on call almost 24 hours when it comes to being a tow truck driver? Well, you at least make good money.
Yeah, that seems like a pain in the ass, though. It really does.
I just lost my internet connection, so what did I miss for the last 2 minutes? Feels bad, man. I mean, just us kind of rambling about just life. So he didn't really miss much, bro.
Honestly, like, when it finally came time to like start getting a job and shit, I have had the worst luck. Just like, I don't know, I've applied to like over 60 places within like an hour drive away from my house and shit, and just wow, for the past like 3 years, I've had one interview.
I mean, it's just you just got to be repetitive with it, and it goes down to like what are the questions. There's like a ton that goes on with it, so pretty much for the most part, as long as you're sitting there and asking/answering the questions in the correct way, you get the job. If not, just like you do it.
Honestly, a lot of the times they just said, "Oh, your schedule doesn't match up with ours." Like, bruh, I'm going to college for like 2 days a week. Relax.
I mean, like they usually just want to hear the fact that you'll work 365 days out of the year. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just it's a worker, like, North American wise, and I can't speak about this anywhere else, but NA wise, it's an employer's market right now. There's so much like going south with everything right now that if you're an employer, it's a great time. If you're an employee, however, well, life's a bitch.
Because I always hate because like my parents are like still on my ass, like, you gotta find a job, you're not trying hard enough. It's like, bro, I'm not trying to apply to places that are like 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours away. I'm not going to like fucking, I don't know, Michigan for a goddamn job.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta do that. Like, it just depends on how much you want money in the pocket or what you're looking for, really. If you're gonna take anything, well then You know, that then just becomes how consistent are you with sitting there and doing it? Could you sit there and spruce up your resume? It all depends on that portion, and it also depends on like your looks when you sit there and go in. So like if you sit there walking in with like casual clothes, some people don't sit there and really care for seeing somebody walking in with casual clothes. If you at least have like a nice like dress suit or something on, but it's kind of like one of those like businessman type vibes that you're giving off, that sometimes could like just make the deal pass, just due to the simple fact that you're being professional about it, because it's showing them that you're taking the time out of your day to show that you mean business and this company is something that you want to work for. Tag my buddy. God damn it, Third. Oh, so how's it going, Third? Oh! This build is super squish, but has a ton of damage. No.
Oh no, for the place I applied to, it's kind of like what's the best way to put it? Like an outdoorsy type thing. And fucking, you know the store Tractor Supply? Because I don't know how many states it's in, but it's like...
I'm not in the States, my dude.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a store called Tractor Supply, like, for some places and shit. And it's literally just like, hey, we got tools, we got parts, we got all that shit. So I'm like, alright, I'll go in there. I'll look like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know. I went in nice flannel jeans, fucking boots and everything. I started talking to a guy. This dude's like fucking 5 foot. And like fucking... he kept getting off topic and like all that shit. And like I'm trying to be like respectful, but like he's just being like, kind of an ass about it.
Have a good night, Third. Yeah, let's keep on.
I'm still fucking there trying and shit, and like, my lord.
It's just like, you want to give, like, first impression means a lot. So you want to give your best impression when you're looking at it. This Bracky just doesn't want me to have health today.
Honestly, I really like this build. So far, I've only been hit once.
I mean, a bow with stamina recovery feels super good. That's like the bow build that I could only dream of. That's the reason why I have to sit there and constantly keep fighting this damn thing. You do not get the thing. You are not allowed. Oh.
I don't know. This ended up being a lot more fun than I thought it would. Like at first, I just want to like try the bow at first, but now I'm like, all right, I'm just doing like fucking hours and hours of fights with this shit.
Bow's such a good time. Alrighty, what do we got going on here besides a Bracky that's pissed? And a KO that has not been given. I love the fact that Striker gets natural fast charges. Boink.
Oh, also, you should have warned me. I had to fucking farm Furious to jank for this goddamn bow. That was one hell of a not good time.
Yeah, I didn't like look at a lot of the materials because a lot of the materials I've already had for like days, weeks, months, years. So when a lot of people look at me, they're like, "Man, you needed to sit there and warn me about it." It's like, well, I kind of already had it. So what's going on with that? I'm like, just the usual thunder cats. I hate that he pushes you away. Come on, bro. I guess I could have probably aimed that so that way it's just the final hit that connects with him. And that probably would have killed him. No thanks. No thanks.
There's no fucking way that arrow hit. Oh.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Can you... There we go. Like, can you just die? We got the thing done. Beautiful.